Hey there, everybody. Time for another episode of Time to Draw with Mr. Shaw. I'm really excited about today's episode. I'm going to be drawing one of my favorite characters of any TV show of any time. Today we're going to be drawing Baby Yoda from the Mandalorian TV show. My scholars at HJCS know how much I love Baby Yoda. He's on my coffee cup. I talk about him all day long. So today we're going to draw him. If you get stuck, if I'm going too fast while we're drawing along, feel free to pause the video, rewind it if you need to. The more times you practice this drawing, the better you'll get at it. All you'll need is a piece of paper or something to draw on, and either a pencil, marker, crayon, something to draw with. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to draw up here near the top is just a head shape. I'm going to do a curved line for the top of the head, kind of like that, kind of like a little rainbow. After I do that, that's just going to be the top of his head. I'm going to do two nice big round shapes for his cheeks. My little friend Baby Yoda has very adorable little chubby cheeks, almost like a little baby bulldog. And then inside of that, we're going to draw his eyes. Now, his eyes are kind of almond shaped. That means they're kind of like an oval with little points on the inside. But I found one of the easiest ways to draw Baby Yoda in particular is to start with two really big circles, one right here and one right here. Kind of spread them out, not too far away from each other, but pretty far. Two nice big circles just like that. Then on the sides of those circles, I'm going to start on the curve at the top, and I'm just going to bring it to a point like this and like this. And now it looks like that big circle is kind of sitting inside that almond-shaped eye. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to point it out here and give it a little point here. And then what I can do inside of these eyes is I can draw a little circle that I'm going to keep white. That's going to be the kind of the white shiny part of the eye. And then I'm going to draw a really nice big black circle. I'm pretty much going to color that whole thing in. I'm just going to go ahead and color that whole thing in. Now I think in reality Baby Yoda has a little tiny edge of brown around the outside of it, but this looks pretty good. He's looking pretty cute. I'm going to go ahead while I'm up here and draw in three curved lines. I'm going to do one above this eye, almost like an eyebrow, one above this one, but then another bump in the middle. And then I'm going to repeat that bump a little higher up, and then I'm going to kind of curve the top of his head to make it look kind of bumpy, almost like he has three bumps. And then I'm just going to draw these little tiny lines, like little tiny hairs growing up there, like that. Now I can move down to his nose. Now his nose isn't way down here. It's actually pretty close to his eyes. And to draw his nose, I'm going to draw a curved line, almost like an upside down lowercase u, with two more bumps on the sides, like this and like this. Just little tiny ones like that. Then I'm going to draw his mouth. Now we don't want his mouth to stretch all the way out. He doesn't have a big, huge mouth. He has kind of a little one. So I'm going to draw a curved line underneath the middle of this eye to underneath the middle of this eye. Just a little curve, just like that. And on the sides of those, I'm going to draw a curved line going this way, and that'll help those cheeks look nice and big and nice and puffy. Underneath that, I'm going to draw two little lines here and here, and then a curve for his chin, because he has a cute little chin kind of peeking out if you want to draw a little bit of his lip here. And then he also has some wrinkles around his eyes, so I'm just going to draw a little curved line here and here. I'm going to draw little lines kind of poking out from those corners right here and here. And then I can do a couple of wrinkles underneath those big bubbly cheeks that he has. So one of my favorite things about Baby Yoda are his enormous, enormous ears. He's got a pretty big wingspan up here. So I'm going to start by drawing, I'm not going to draw his whole ear. I'm going to draw a long, skinny triangle, probably about as wide as his head is, coming out in this direction. And then I'm going to have it come back just like this. This is a long, skinny triangle. Now once I have that, I'm going to start from the tip and I'm going to widen the triangle out. And that's kind of like the inside of his ear. Now, if you were coloring him, that inside part would be pink, and most of his skin would be green, kind of a light green color. Since I'm just using pencil, I'm just going to shade that in just a little bit. I'm going to use some little lines like that. My third graders would know that's called hatching. If you wanted a little darker, you could do some cross hatching in there. And I can even carry some of the little tiny hairs out onto his ear. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to draw that long, skinny triangle. Again, about the the width of his head in this direction. And then I can extend that triangle down here. And then I'm just going to color in just a little bit, darken up that space. And then some little hairs. He's looking pretty cute so far. So now we're going to give him his little scarf and his little, looks like a little brown bathrobe. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, starting from the end of this cheek to the end of this cheek, a long curved line. And then I'm going to draw almost like a curved rectangle coming all the way across. I'm going to do it lightly first. And then I'm going to put a little fold right about here, just with two curved lines with a little shading in between. And then I'm just going to darken in that shape all the way around. He looks pretty cozy. If you want to show like some folds coming from the edges of his robe, that little collar coming around, you could just draw some light curved lines coming out from there. And then we're going to draw his body, that bathrobe shape. And I'm really just going to draw kind of like a small rectangle shape. I'm putting a little curve on the bottom, so it's almost like a cylinder. A little bit of a curve on the bottom here. And then I'm going to poke out 3 little toes on this side and 3 little toes on this side. Now a cool trick to make it look like those toes are really peeking out is I'm going to draw a bump over these toes and then curve the line flat down at the bottom and then bump it up a little bit here. And then with the bottom of the robe, I'm going to keep that bump and just shade in the top of those toes a little bit. I'm going to copy this bump from up top right down here and then just shade in those toes a little bit. And now they look like they're kind of peeking out from under his robe. Now, he also has kind of a long rectangle coming down the middle of his robe here. So I'm just going to draw 2 lines to show that. And then I can just draw a couple of diagonal lines kind of coming from the same spot to look like that robe has been folded up a little bit. So it's kind of wrinkly down there. And then I'm going to draw just a line coming down from this side with a small rectangle at the bottom of it, like his sleeve. Now this robe is probably a little bit too big for him. He's a little tiny guy, so I'm just going to have his fingers, 1, 2, 3, popping out just a tiny bit down from his robe. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Draw a straight line down with a little kind of a curved rectangle at the bottom with 1, 2, 3 little fingers. And that's a pretty adorable Baby Yoda. Now, as always, you could stop here. You could color it. If you have paint at home, you could paint him. I like to draw settings sometimes. I can draw that horizon line, the line that shows where the ground is, where the sky is. You could have some spaceships behind him. Maybe he's at a busy spaceport. Drawing kind of a flying saucer looking craft back here. Maybe there's some sort of small droid checking him out. If you've seen the newest movie, The Rise of the Skywalker, there's a brand new droid. I think his name is called D.O. He has kind of a cylinder-shaped head and a single wheel down here. I'm not sure if this is exactly what he looks like, but I could have a cute little robot down here to keep Baby Yoda company. So you could draw anything else you'd like. You could have some grass on the ground. You could draw a city behind him, or you could put him in your living room. Maybe he's at the beach. Maybe he's got a little umbrella and some lemonade to drink. Whatever it is you end up drawing, if you want to snap a picture of it, send it to me on Class Dojo if you're a Henry Johnson scholar. If not, comment below something you'd like to learn how to draw, and I'll add it to my list for something I can do next time. As always, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you soon.